Man, I love all of these stories. Now, speaking of love, our next story is entitled Speaking Love by Rebecca Choi. Rebecca Choi was born in South Korea, immigrated to the US with her family when she was just 7 years old, and grew up in Southern California. After receiving her bachelor's in political economy from Princeton University, she worked in investment banking and private equity in New York and San Francisco, making investments around the world. Among other things, Rebecca has been a chief operating officer for a graduate university at Silicon Valley and a chief of staff for a national nonprofit that provides entrepreneurship training to people with criminal histories. Rebecca cares deeply about empowering people through education and economic opportunities, as well as celebrating diversity and strengthening connections in our community. She currently contributes as a volunteer for Keiki Heroes, Vibrant Hawaii, Next Tech STEM Program, Hilo Missionary Church, WASC Senior College and University Commission, and Princeton Alumni Schools Committees. Rebecca and her husband have 3 beautiful daughters, ages 12, 10, and 4. Rebecca is an avid reader who enjoys feeding people and having dance parties with her girls.
You know how full-grown, respectable adults say goo goo gaga and turn into little kids in front of infants? Well, I never really understood that. Why don't you just talk to them in your normal voice? They don't understand what you're saying anyway. Or so I thought until I had a baby of my own baby Kay. Our first daughter came, and without even me noticing, I was speaking in a high-pitched sing-songy, "Oh, you're the cutest thing ever," and making all kinds of noises that I never knew I could make. Scientists call that infant-directed speech, and studies after studies show that babies actually prefer it. They prefer this method of communication because they don't understand the words, but they can pick up on the intonation and the speed and the pitch and the emotional cues of infant-directed speech. And it's really amazing how they react to it. Their whole face lights up and their eyes sparkle. And that, of course, just reinforces how we communicate with the baby. Well, infant-directed speech is just a simple example of how important communication is in expressing and sharing our love. Communication isn't just about the words, although the right words can help. It's about being in tune with the person you're communicating with and connecting in a way that they feel can be understood and they can enjoy. Well, as our daughter grew from a little baby to a toddler, we started to use what they call toddlerese. They're simple, short sentences like, eat food, sit down, let's go. And this is the best kind of communication for a toddler brain that is trying to make sense of the words and trying to understand them. And most of us mamas and papas do it naturally. We're not taught this or read it in books, although some of us do. We just get it. We know intuitively to speak in this very simple way, to connect with our toddlers. But then, as our children start growing older, it gets more complicated. And our baby Kay is no longer a baby. She's an adolescent, and she's becoming a lovely young lady. She's bright and creative and adventurous and independent. And now, I don't always know how to communicate with her well, how to be in tune with her in the way that she prefers it. Honestly, I fail so much. She would sometimes tell me a story, and instead of just listening and validating her, I would correct her or point out other facts. In my intention, I was just trying to help her learn and help her grow, but to her, it felt like rejection and criticism. And then there would be times I would see her visibly upset, and I'd ask, "What's wrong, love?" And she would reply curtly, "Nothing. I'm fine." Fine. that despicable 4-letter F word I really have come to despise. I would inquire further just because I can tell she's not okay, but I found that for her, it felt obtrusive, even oppressive when I kept asking, what's wrong? It is so much easier to go goo goo gaga and to talk in simple sentences with our little ones. But communicating well takes time and care and lots of practice. It's risky and it takes courage. And even with the best of intentions, we can fail. So instead of beating myself up or being super angry, I'm giving myself grace and to keep trying. I've leaned on simple things like writing a little silly note with a drawing of a kitty cat to just tell her, I love you. I'm not great at drawing, and I don't personally like cats much, but I know Kay loves them. Or just sitting next to her while she's reading a book and not asking her questions, which is really hard for me. But I've come to realize that's how she feels loved, just being there together. I also ask her about the computer game she's playing, and when she explains, I don't understand much of it, but I listen, and then I meow a little and give her a squeeze, just to let her know that I love her. And when I get it wrong, more often than I like, I apologize that I missed the mark. Through it all, though, I hope that she will hear when my heart beats, I love you, baby K. And I may not always know how to communicate that well, but I will keep trying because your heart matters to me. I'll keep trying to find the different words and to communicate in the way that makes you comfortable and makes you feel loved until I see that sparkle in your eyes again.